In today's video, we will talk all about the impending new altcoin season. So now that Bitcoin has really had its major breakout above even 34, almost 35K, it's now starting to consolidate a bit, and Bitcoin dominance has seen a huge pump up as well. But now that Bitcoin is going sideways, the money should start to flow into altcoin, even if it's in a very short-term period. So this is what I'm placing my bets on for the next at least a few weeks to a month. So that's why I'm heavily looking at positioning myself in the strongest altcoins that have been outperforming the market in the first half of the year, and betting that these altcoins are really good buys on dips. So we will talk all about my top altcoin picks in this short-term altcoin season that we're having, and we will do all of that today. So if you're new here to the channel, welcome. My name is Dennis. I'm a crypto angel investor for the past 5 years, and I have invested in over 100 crypto startups. Here on the Virtual Bacon channel, I share my views on market trends and investing strategy to build wealth in crypto. Okay, so let's get straight into the charts. There's going to be a lot of charts that we will cover today, and not so much fundamentals, but I'll also mention some catalyst events that are pertaining to these specific coins. But first of all, we obviously have to cover Bitcoin and what it's doing right now. So Bitcoin, after its huge run up in the past week, starting to consolidate for the past 4 days or so. And here you see, this is a 4-hour time frame. We are even showing a very short-term bearish divergence on the 4 hours. So you see here, even though price made a slight higher high, RSI made a lower high. And then right after that, well, price came down to retest this support range. So in order to identify where the key support ranges are, we have to look at one key metric that is in this trending period, and that is with liquidation levels. So here is a really useful tool called CoinGlass. This is completely free. I don't even have an account. But on CoinGlass, you can go to this liquidation tab and find this liquidation heat map. So this is really useful because in this trending period, a lot of people are placing their bets on both the long side and the short side. And essentially what this liquidation heat map tells us is where the most amount of orders there are to be potentially liquidated if price goes to that level. So here you see we have the Binance BTC USDT liquidation heat map. Let me just move myself to the left here. And you see how you can use this chart is the more towards the yellow side of these lines here you see on the chart, the higher amount of liquidation orders will happen at that price level. So what that means is right now, if Bitcoin price goes down to 33.3K, it will cost quite a bit of liquidation, which means we should see one of these large wicks as people's as people's long orders will be forced to be closed at 33.3K. So they will be forced to sell at that level. Same thing a little bit down below, we have right around here, 33K. There has been a lot of liquidations built up at 33K since October 4th, so for the past 4 days. So you see here, a lot of people are placing their long orders on this run up very aggressively, and their stop losses, or essentially their full liquidations, will happen right at 33K and 33.3K. And you see once that level gets triggered, not much other levels to watch out for underneath. So usually how you can use these is that you see down here, concentration of potential liquidation levels within a specific price range may indicate that the price is likely to move towards that zone, because the whales, the large institutions, well, they don't want to buy just that spot because they have large orders that they want to fill. So usually in order to get the best prices, here in high liquidation areas, large traders or whales can execute trades rapidly at favorable prices. So if, let's say, for example, I'm BlackRock and I want to buy Bitcoin, I wouldn't just go and buy at 34K because I would myself cause the price to rise a lot. So instead, what I would do is release some form of very short-term news or just suppress the price a little bit so that it triggers these liquidation levels from the retail side, which is right at 33 and 33.3K and 33K. When that happens, you guys, a lot of retail longs will be forced to close on one of these large wicks down, and then I can fill my orders at that level very favorably without causing the price to run up a lot, even though I'm filling with large sides. So that's what whales tend to do. And that's what you see here. It already happened 2 days ago when Bitcoin's price dropped down even just below 33.8K. And you see all of these, this pent up liquidation, as you can see with these yellow color right here, it got flushed out, and you saw we already had a little bit of a wick down here. So that's why I'm personally watching between 33K and 33.3. I think price is likely to revisit that level in order to hunt these liquidity at this lower level. So that's why I have combined that with the chart right now. So a lot of people are, either drawing the support levels way too close because they only look at the price chart. So on the price chart, it looks like 33.45 is a really good support level, right? Because we have bounced from it twice. But you don't want to place your entries way too close to here. So if price just touches here and your position gets stopped, well, that defeats the whole purpose. So what's way more likely to happen is for these stops to be hunted in a slightly larger wick than both of these previous wicks. So for price to come slightly down into this range before quickly bouncing again. That's much more likely based on what the liquidation heat map is telling me. And that's why I don't have my entry target for Bitcoin in the very short term at 33K. I think much more likely, 30 slightly below 33K, I would say 32.9, 32.8. That's going to be very good entry opportunity for me. So somewhere within this range, right around here, that's going to be my target range. So that's on Bitcoin. Now, zooming out a bit more, do I think we're likely to revisit, 31, 31.2, even 31K, like a lot of people are saying? I think that is unlikely because if you just look on Twitter today, all of the so-called chart analysts are telling you basically this chart, which is, Bitcoin has a very significant support level at 31K because it dates all the way back to the summer 2021 bull run drop. So that's why the next time Bitcoin comes back down to touch this level, you see a lot of charts looking like this right now. It comes back down to touch right here, and then you place a long right here. But because everyone is already looking at this level, I think it's unlikely that we'll get a clean dip just like this. So I think either we drop a little bit to this range, but people don't get their best entries at 31, or in a medium term, looking at a bit further out, we might drop a little bit further than that before bouncing. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. So in the immediate short term, I think the momentum is still there. So that's why I don't think 31K is likely to be revisited immediately. And that's why my immediate target is just right around 32.8. That's going to be pretty ideal for me personally. Okay, so that's on Bitcoin. Now with that as the background, why are we looking at altcoins now? So if you are relatively new to the crypto markets, you might not have seen this crypto money flow before. Shout out to Rex Capital. You guys should follow him on YouTube. He is the original author. This is literally his chart from way back in 2020, I want to say. So this is how usually money flows in crypto. Basically, when you have new money coming in from fiat currency into Bitcoin, which is what we saw this past couple of weeks, Once Bitcoin starts consolidating, you have that same amount of capital start to flow into the large caps, mid caps, and low caps. And once everything has had its run, market has a flush again, and people fly back to safety into Bitcoin, and then it rinses and repeats. So that's why as Bitcoin is going in this kind of sideways ranging period, people still have their confidence in this rally, don't get me wrong, but instead of trying to trade on Bitcoin, now people are looking to take their profit that they have made on this run up and then deploy it from top down to the most popular altcoins and then slowly into the mid caps and the low caps. So that's why I'm personally very interested in altcoins right now. And let's look at a few of the most obvious ones, right? So the number one most obvious one is Ethereum. So in fact, I have already entered a Ethereum setup yesterday. So you see on FairDesk on our copy trade, I have opened a long at 1745, which is actually very luckily right at this wick right here. Now, the reason I was able to do this was also because of liquidation heat map. So not only can you do these liquidation levels on Bitcoin, you can also do them on the most popular altcoins, for example, Ethereum. So you see right here, yesterday I was looking at this chart, and basically the liquidation level to be hunted on Ethereum was very tight. So you see right here, this yellow line was getting built up with a lot of liquidity right at 1750. So I placed a limit long order right below here at 1745. And then this level got hunted, right? Because, well, the same whales watched the exact same charts as this, and they saw that, okay, there's a lot of liquidity for us to fill some longs. So they hunted these levels. And now that's why you saw this huge wick down yesterday. You can see this on the price chart as well right here. Bunch of orders got liquidated right here, and that's why I was able to get a really good fill at 1745. So now that the market makers, the whales, have had their fill, chances are this is going to come back up to revisit the range highs. So that's why my current trade was right around 1745 as the entry. Stops going to be placed a little bit below 1700, and I'm still holding this position on FairDesk. You see right here, and I'm looking to exit somewhere above 1800, ideally at the previous resistance right here at 1848. That's the most ideal case. So that's on Ethereum. And overall, just the last bit, I think Ethereum versus Bitcoin, if you look at ETH BTC chart, this is coming back down to this long-term support range that we have been targeting for past month or so. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, Ethereum is losing strength against Bitcoin. Yes, but you can look at that two ways. So there's a very crucial support here for Ethereum versus Bitcoin ratio, which is at 0.05. If this level gets broken, you see this is a very long-term level on the weekly. So if this level right here gets broken, well, that's going to look very bad for Ethereum leading into the next couple years. But that also gives us a very strong potential bounce here that we can bet on because we have a very tight stop loss right below here. So you want to be patient with this move, but I'm personally actually positioning in Ethereum, and I think this bounce is very good risk to reward ratio here by placing a bet on Ethereum for it to make a comeback against Bitcoin in the next cycle. I think that's a pretty favorable trade based on the risk to reward ratio right here. And that's why I'm not calling for Ethereum to go much lower and underperform Bitcoin, and very closely watching this support level on ETH BTC chart. Okay, so that's on Ethereum. Moving on to some of the short-term altcoin positions that I'm very interested in. First one here is Solana. So Solana has been just catching a bid very consistently for the past couple months. So you guys know my stance on Solana. Very long term, I have made a full price prediction video on Solana. I don't think it will be able to reach its previous all-time high at 250 because Solana has had very significant inflation, and that total market cap for Solana will grow to something like 1.1, 1.2 billion by the next bull run peak in 2025. So that's going to look at $250, that's going to be well over $250 billion in market cap for Solana. That's just highly, highly unlikely. But in the short term, let's say 3-6 months, even 1 to 3 months, I think Solana is gaining a lot of popularity, and short-term uptrend is very clear on Solana. So here, I have had this chart drawn in our last trading video, last trading live stream on Tuesday. So basically, this is the setup I'm looking at in the medium term. If Solana can come back down to test this support range at $27, you see dates back all the way to here and then here. And it was even acting as support way back in last summer. So this is going to be a very good buying range for me, between 27 to say 27.5. If this level gets tested again, I think that's going to be a solid buy for me with a medium term target around $45, even $47. That's on Solana. Immediate short term, I mean, this is just a slow grind up right here on the 4-hour chart. So this is very hard to enter into right now. So even though this is showing quite a bit of strength, a flush towards something like $27 is quite likely, let's say within the next month. So I'm not rushing into this position. I think gonna wait for this potential flush here and then look to pick up Solana right around the 27 range. I don't think I'm not saying, this will happen right now. For all intents and purposes, it could slowly start to keep grinding up, but the flush should eventually happen, and just be ready when that happens. Okay, that's on Solana. Now, two more altcoins that people usually draw comparison to Solana and usually runs together, which is Matic, Polygon, and Avalanche. So I think these two are much more interesting for me right now, even for this week. So for Matic, Polygon, before we look at the chart, there's actually a very major update coming up to Polygon immediate short term, which is the Polygon 2.0 migration. So they have, they're going to be migrating the Matic token to have a new ticker called PO. Where is this? The PO token. In fact, I think this token has already been deployed on mainnet just yesterday or 2 days ago. Very, very short term. And also with this update, it's not only a change of the token name, but also they have a full tokenomics revamp. As you guys know, it used to be that the Matic token was only the token behind the Polygon proof of stake sidechain. That was the original Polygon network. But now, because Polygon 2.0 has all of these product suites, right? So you have the ZK EVM, you have the original POS chain, and then you have their Polygon Supernet, which are their enterprise chains that they do with their partners. And they also have their ZK stack, which is their technology stack that they are onboarding other potential layer 2s, so other projects that want to build their own ZK EVM layer 2s, while they are now integrating Polygon and using Polygon's technology to build their own layer 2. So all of these sub networks that are all Ethereum layer 2s, well, with this Polygon 2.0 upgrade, they will all be using the PO token as its native staking token. So you see, there's going to be a overarching staking layer That is where people stake the new Polygon token, and that will be used to secure all of these layer 2s under the Polygon technology brand. So that's the update coming to Polygon, and that's why I think Polygon is looking at a immediate short-term very good catalyst event coming up. So combine that with the price. So you see here Polygon's price very much cleaner than Solana, to be honest, and much easier to enter than Solana, because as you can see from beginning of the year, Polygon has had this significant downtrend actually with this resistance level, this diagonal resistance in red. And in this most recent rally, we have had a clear breakout above this level right here. So now that this level has been broken out, the next time it comes back down to test this previous resistance level, it will act as a strong support to bounce from. On top of that, we also have this neckline level that was the double bottom pattern here we had since August and September. So you see two double bottoms right here. And then once this neckline was broken through, price had a major run up, clearly breaking out of this sideways range. So now the next time price comes back down to test this neckline, that's going to be a strong buy. So combining these two levels, this diagonal previous resistance now turns support, and this neckline level, that gives us a very clear entry, I would say, range for Polygon. So the bottom of this range is right around 0.056, even 0.055, if you count all the way down to this diagonal support here. And I would say the top of this range is something like 0.059. That's also going to be pretty good entry for me personally, because I don't want to try to time the absolute bottom of this move. So you see here, 0.059 was the candle closes, but 0.057 was the candle wicks. So for this support range, there's kind of a range here instead of one specific level. So you see here, 0.059 was tested on this candle close, and here again on this candle wick. And then 0.057 is the little bit stronger support because it had a lot more candle closes here. So personally, I'm targeting right between this range, 0.057 to 0.059 as a entry range for Polygon. So if I just draw that box right here, right here, within that box, that's going to be my entry range because it's the diagonal support range that we have finally broken out of with this diagonal resistance starting in the beginning of the year, and also this sideways consolidation, which eventually led to a double bottom breakout pattern. So the neckline of this breakout is also within this range. So in terms of a potential drop from here, that's only 6% away. So that's much cleaner, much more plausible than the Solana chart, because Solana's short-term rally is looking very aggressive versus on Polygon. Well, these are all, the mainstream coins that people usually draw comparison to. So that's why I think Polygon here looking quite interesting here. So if price can just come back down a little bit more within this range, I think that's going to be a bid for me right here. Okay, so that's on Polygon. Now, moving on to Avalanche. And before we move on to the other coins, if you guys want to just directly follow my trades, and if you want my trade alerts, make sure to join our Discord on virtualbacon.com, or you can find the link to our Discord down below, discord.gg/virtualbacon. I post all of my personal trade setups even before they happen. So for example, just like on today's live stream. So preparing for the trades even before they happen so that I don't have to watch the charts. And instead, I just place limit orders at specific levels that of interest. And once they go there, the trade already automatically executes. So make sure to join our Discord if you want to take advantage of that, because I post a lot more day-to-day charts before doing these live streams once a week. Okay, moving on to the next close comparison to Solana and to Polygon, and that is Avalanche. So Avalanche actually has a very, very similar chart to Polygon's. So here you see right here, same two type of lines we have. Number one is the long-term resistance level that we had actually from the all-time high of Avalanche at $150. So once this all-time high was printed, you see price has had this significant diagonal resistance, which was very strong in the entire bear market. And you see we are just starting to have this first peak out of this resistance level right here in this current week. So you see, we are just getting above this resistance level right now. I wouldn't even say this is clearly broken through yet. So that's number one. Number two is this neckline level. So before getting into this short-term neckline, this blue horizontal level is even significant all the way back in July of 2021. So you see here, first correction in February 2021, and then the major correction in July 2021. Then in the huge dip, this is huge dump that we had in December 2022. I think this was when FTX had their collapse. And then this summer when Binance got sued, price dropped down to this level again. Then finally we broke through this level, and now we are starting to test this level again. So this is still acting as resistance as we speak. Then lastly, on a daily chart, starting to show a double bottom pattern, very similar to the Polygon chart that we saw just earlier. And the neckline for this double bottom is right at $10.70. So all in all, these two levels are colliding and coinciding, very long-term levels coinciding right at $10.70. So this honestly is a very clean chart to trade. Now, because we are just getting this short-term rally up, and because we're only seeing a couple days of price action slightly above this level, so I wouldn't rush into this trade and say, okay, this level has been cleared. But because of how long-term and how significant this level is, I think the trade here, the setup is very clear, which is to wait for a clean breakout a little bit above this level. Let's say if Avalanche can continue to stay above this level and maybe go to $11, maybe towards $12, then this long-term breakout will be much more interesting. And in that case, I will look for a long opportunity on the retest of this level once it comes back down to revisit this. So if Avalanche can stay above this significant resistance, then the next time it comes back down to test it, that's going to be acting as support right at $10.70 range. And that's going to be a very good entry opportunity for a long. Yeah, very clean chart, honestly, on Avalanche. And now that, Solana has broken out into this uptrend, Avalanche is kind of like the other alternative layer one that people usually draw comparison to for the two Ethereum killers that are still sort of relevant. So that's why I think Avalanche, very interesting to watch here for the next week. If it can remain above this $10.7 level, I think that's going to be a bid for me. That's going to be a long for me on the next retest. Okay, so that's on Avalanche. Two more, not alternative to Ethereum, but much more stronger charts to watch. So most obvious one here is Chainlink. Again, so Chainlink has had this huge breakout above the sideways range that we have had for 1.5 years in the bear market. And all in all, this chart is a little bit harder to trade, just like on the Solana chart, because Chainlink just continues to slowly grind up, right? Which means, well, it's going to be quite hard to enter here because there's always that risk of getting a short-term flush, coming back down to test something like $8 to $9 as a short-term bounce. So all in all, I'm closely watching Chainlink, but I don't have a position yet because this is honestly very hard to trade right now as it's slowly grinding up. In the medium term, however, doesn't get cleaner than this. So if Chainlink can revisit anything like $8, something like between $8.20 to $8.80, even $9, that's going to be a very strong buy signal for me, because this is 1.5 years of sideways consolidation. So the next time it revisits this level, that's going to be the strongest support that we have seen in 1.5 years. So most likely this level will hold. Is it likely to happen? Will we get a long-term trade so simple and so easy like this? I don't know. So I'm not saying, this is likely to happen. Very hard to predict. But if this happens, don't be scared. This is a very easy layup trade. So just take it if this happens. That's why I always have Chainlink on my watch list right now, and just praying that this happens. Okay, that's on Chainlink. And then last one here is Injective. So Injective is honestly a crazy coin. I haven't covered it in past year, but Injective is until this week, officially the strongest performing coin in the entire year. So from the beginning of the year, in January, it has had a 6x gain to the summer levels, right, to July. And this was when most altcoins kind of topped out and eventually had a major correction and essentially have done something like this. But Injective, well, it never had a correction. So since it topped out in April this year, it made another high in July of this year, and then it just continued to go sideways, consolidate, until we finally had this major breakout on Bitcoin, and then it just continued to follow through. So right here in the past 2 weeks, Injective, another 70% gain just from this short-term rally. So all in all, from the beginning of the year until today, that's already a 10x gain for Injective. Pretty crazy if you think about it, for a coin to have been so strong and not even correct when Binance had a huge FUD in summer. So all in all, this is one coin that I'm very, very interested in to get into on the next bounce, on the next dip. So in times of strength, in times of, overall market strength, and when Bitcoin is running and most of the altcoins are running, you don't want to overthink it. You don't want to be like, oh, this coin has run up 10x, so it must crash now, because a market-wide crash is not coming. As we've seen now, strength is in the market. So you want to bet on just the strongest coins and buy the dips on them instead of being mid-curve IQ and saying, oh, whichever coin is pumped up a lot, it should crash, so I'm going to short it. That's the number one thing you should avoid doing in this type of market. Focus on buying dips instead of saying, which coins are overhyped, because whatever's popular right now should continue to catch a bid. Okay, so that's on Injective, and very clear level on Injective right here is right at $9.40 right here. So April high, you see April 2023 high at $9.40, and then July high in the summer, $9.40 again. Price broke out above this level, so next time it comes back down to test this level, that's going to be a very easy long here. Very easy entry. Now, is this likely to happen? Honestly, I don't think so. Because of the strength that Injective is showing, very similar to the Chainlink chart when we are trying to get in this level at $8.80 range. I think this is unlikely to happen. So similarly, I think on Injective, $9.40 range, also unlikely to happen. But the reason why I still have this chart is because, well, if this happens, that's going to be the easiest layup trade. If it touches $9.40, even $9.50, $9.60, easy long for me personally. Now, in the immediate short term, even on the 4 hour, so let's say on a daily time frame, if you want to day trade, there is also this consolidation range that we had last week. So between 1160 and 1260, right here, this box, also a short-term range that you could look to trade on an intraday basis. So this is not a trade that will hold for multiple days or even over 1 week. I would say that's way too risky. But if you're into that kind of stuff for a day trade, this is one level that I'm watching. So I wouldn't be very aggressive on this. I wouldn't try to long right here at 1260. Instead, I would look to kind of get an average entry between 1160 and 1260. So let's say average entry at $12 for an immediate intraday trade. That's going to be pretty interesting as well, just based on how strong this current uptrend on Injective is. This is also a pretty solid trade because we also have a very clear stop loss right below this range at 1130, 1120 range. That's going to be pretty clear. So all in all, short-term trade for Injective looking like this, where average entry at $12. If we get it, then stop loss at 1120, and then take profit at the previous high, something like 1370. Okay, that's on Injective. Yeah, overall, super interested in this coin for its strength this year. Okay, and lastly, just one, maybe two more. Let me cover just one sector that I'm particularly interested in that you guys already know that's coming up. And that is the AI sector. So AI sector coins are actually starting its next wave of runs. So you see some of the clearest ones here. We have Ocean Protocol. You see, since the beginning of the year, when we had this major run up with the AI wave coming off of OpenAI's interest, Ocean Protocol has been consolidating, but now it's starting to break above this diagonal resistance right here at 0.035. Ocean Protocol, one of the most well-known AI coins out there. So no clear trade on this yet, but I am starting to get into the AI narrative. So I'm making a follow-up video on all the top AI coins I'm watching. Also, another one is TAO, Bittensor. This is a very new AI coin that has just launched April of this year, but already very, very popular. And you see on this recent rally, TAO has had a, how much is this? I think this is a 50% gain from the bottom. Yeah, 50% rally from the bottom and still going. And just from my very initial research, this is kind of like the next Singularity Net, but much more realistic, much more next gen, focusing on real usable models that are currently trending in the market, instead of like on Singularity Net where the AI models on there and the data sets are kind of outdated. So very similar model to Singularity Net, but targeting really useful models in the new wave of AI applications. So that's Bittensor TAO, something to watch. I don't have a position in this yet because I mean, this is just a huge pump, but going to make a follow-up video on this. And last one to watch is FetchAI. So this is also one of the most popular AI altcoins. You see this beginning of the year rally coming from OpenAI, and then it has had this consolidation, and now starting to break out of the long-term resistance that we have had since the all-time high levels, right? So similar to the Matic chart and the AVAX chart, the diagonal resistance on FetchAI dating back to the all-time high, well, this is starting to get broken this week, and the horizontal neckline level that we have on this double bottom here is also getting broken out. So very clear entry range right here between 0.3 and 0.28. If we get a revisit right here, that's going to be very easy long trade for me right here. But overall, why are AI coins getting popular again? I think that is because we have a lot of AI conferences in the last 2 months of the year, in November and December. As you can see, a huge concentration of AI conferences from now until the end of the year. And specifically, there is the OpenAI Developer Conference. This is their first conference that's being hosted on November 6th in San Francisco. And this will honestly cause a bit of hype in just overall AI market in general. Because think about it. What's likely to happen is that new OpenAI features and new kind of overall AI features come up. People will tweet about AI. People are excited about AI in the traditional market. And then some of the leading AI crypto altcoins, well, they might want to announce their latest updates leading up to this, catching on to this traditional AI hype. And on top of that, when you have new features coming out for OpenAI, for other AI models, for example, AI applications, well, the leading AI altcoins might try to copy paste those similar type of features and try to latch onto those narratives as well. So this is definitely something to watch for the next wave of AI coins coming up, coming from the traditional AI space. Now, is it likely for OpenAI or for other, traditional AI companies to integrate crypto, integrate blockchain? I think that's a very far-fetched. But just the timing of it, because traditional AI applications and AI features is getting popular, and AI stocks are probably also getting popular in the next couple months, chances are the crypto AI projects will try to make a significant marketing push as well during the same period. And that's why the narrative for AI cryptos is one to watch for the last 2 months of the year. I will make a deep dive follow-up video on this very soon, so stay tuned for that. Okay, that's everything I wanted to cover, all the top altcoins that I'm interested in for today, and let's do a very quick Q&A. This is the time to pay attention as well, and hopefully you guys have found this video helpful with our altcoin picks, and the AI sector, definitely something to pay attention to. Look out for that. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see that. And last but not least, make sure to follow all of our links on virtualbacon.com. First of all, follow me on Twitter, virtualbacon0x, and join our Discord on virtualbacon.com with the link right here. Or you can just use the link in the description, discord.gg/virtualbacon. We have our free VIP trade signals and trade setups, and my personal Altcoin Alpha directly just posted in there. Completely free program. Join our Discord so you can join the discussion. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys for joining today's video,